Dad always said, don't worry about the cows so much. They know what they need to eat, how they need to eat it. Worry about the grass, that'll take care of your cow. Well, what we've learned really in the last 10 years, if you take care of the soil and give the soil the right diet, then your grasses are going to be that much better, and then your cattle are going to be that much better.
On this day, we're atop the plains in Oklahoma on a grass-fed cattle ranch. I'm Chef Yankel, and we're here to learn about soil. Not to be confused with dirt, of course, which is something you might find under your fingernails, but rather topsoil, an often misunderstood but essential key to life. Our guide is Tom Cannon, owner of Goodson Ranch. 20 years ago, Tom stopped plowing. He let the grasses and other plants follow their natural course. It was unconventional then, and it is unconventional now.
All those common things that you would see in a garden are out here. We just happen to plant them all together. It's called a chaos garden. It works off of diversity.
The real magic is below the surface, where the root systems are exchanging nutrients.
And as they do that, you have incredibly healthy ecosystem, which means you're going to have healthy, nutrient-dense food above the surface.
Everybody pretty much agrees that protecting biodiversity is the right thing to do. But at what cost? For ranchers and farmers across the country, conventional monocrops like corn, soybean, and wheat prove more consistent, predictable, controlled, and profitable. Killing everything else has long been big business.
Annual wild buckwheat, shown here, weighs down grain by its twining growth. It often causes considerable loss in yield and makes harvesting difficult. Stunting of weed growth is often as effective as outright killing.
For Tom, embracing nature, including the weeds, is a long-term investment, trusting in the natural world.
It's amazing when you introduce diversity into soil and get good soil health. It's unreal what you can do. We just let it all grow together and let the system work.
Yeah.
We have cattle running all the way around this garden, and then whenever we're through harvesting and think it's over, we'll just let the cattle have it. Yeah. They'll have a heyday. You got to have cattle because through their excrements, they just add so much to the diversity of the soil life.
Does their trampling around make a difference?
No, that's actually good. That's absolutely the way that the Central Plains, and really I think most all of the U.S., was designed by our Creator to have animals on it. And the more diverse the animals are, the better the soil's going to be also. Bison, if you think about the way that they came through an area, there might be 1 million head. And they'd come through and trample everything and eat everything.
But then they would move on. And regeneration not only brought it all back, but brought it back even stronger. Tom believes it should be the same with his cattle.
Once the soil has had some time to regenerate and the organic matter has grown, and then you put the cattle back through that pasture again, everything increases in density.
Right, but by the time you go back the next year, and then the year after and the year after, your soil health is improving every year. And it is slow. Everything we do out here seems kind of slow, but even at that, we're incredibly amazed at how fast we've regenerated the soils. What took 110 to 125 years of degrading, we're able to bring back to near native levels of soil health within 20 years, with most of that improvement really taking place in the last 5.
It starts with leaving the plows in the barn.
We started protecting our soil, trying to leave residue on top, but that only got us so far in those first 10 years.
Because you're not introducing something new necessarily.
That's right, and the diversity isn't there. If you're still going to try to grow monocrops, there is very little diversity for that, so you're going to have a not so diverse soil
and
below ground.
Quick depletion.
Right. We need to look deeper, literally deeper in the soil. We might have 5,000 or 10,000 pounds of beef per acre out here, and it pales in comparison to what's living in the soil. There'll be more living organisms in that handful of soil than there are people on Earth. Living organisms, all interacting, and 99.9% of those are healthy, beneficial, interacting organisms. The number one nutrient that plants need, number one, is not nitrogen, it's carbon. So why not leave this kind of an environment where you have high amounts of carbon from last year's crop or maybe even the year before that are either being held in the soil or some of it being recycled. These plants will take that and use it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be released. If you come out here and work it, you have a huge flush of carbon going off into the atmosphere. It just burns off like a fire.
What do you think about being carbon neutral in a grass-fed system versus a corn-fed?
Actually, I don't think it's possible to be carbon neutral if you're doing grass finish correctly. Because what you're going to do is you're going to be storing more carbon. You're actually going to have a negative footprint, I guess might be the word for it. We're going to be storing more carbon than what we're releasing by a significant amount. That would more than offset all carbon emissions for like 10 years. We can make money off the cattle and store carbon in the soil at the same time by the type of plants and diversity of plants that we're growing. You can't find this ecosystem anywhere else in the world. Really, if we want to maintain that and we want to do this with a grass finishing business, then it's going to cost a little bit more.
Yeah.
But while you're eating this beef that's natural, all natural, no antibiotics, the flavor's better.
Right.
You're gonna get more nutrients. By spending a little bit more for grass finished beef, you're coming alongside the producers, sharing a little bit of the cost of that, and you can feel good about it. You really can feel good knowing that you're helping with a sustainable system that is actually regenerating the land instead of depleting it.